Hey everybody, it's Alexia from amysticspath, back with another weekly energy video for you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. Now, this week I would like to talk about the new moon slash solar eclipse in the sign of Capricorn, which happens the 26th, which is this Tuesday. Now, I want to kind of take the time to explain what it is that this means. One, when we have a new moon, it means that our sun and our moon is in the same sign, which they are radiating the same energy but in different ways, if that makes sense, because the sun rules our life force energy and our vitality and how we are expressing ourselves, and the moon is encompassed within our desires and our emotions and almost our fear as well, and as well as our intuition. Now, we are also looking at this being the very last new moon of the decade. Now, when we look at a cycle starts with the number 1, which is the seed that is planted, and number 10, which is its completion phase, and then it rolls over into a new cycle, again, starting again with the number 1. Now, when we are looking at the end of the year, we are always pulled to kind of make these New Year's resolutions of what it is that we want to throw out and what it is that we want to keep. Now, some of them are more practical and easier to obtain than others. But the importance of this is that we are in the space where we are needing to let go of some of the habits that consumed us in the last 10 years. So our next 10 years cycle is healthier and more practical, and well, not practical, but healthier, and you're almost more aware of how things that you're doing, like what you're doing, is affecting you and your life. Okay, so when we are looking at Capricorn energy, essentially, we are seeing the energy of structure, and sometimes Capricorn energy can be very rigid and also very deep within the physical world, because this is an earth sign. So when we see Capricorn, we're often very enticed to take things slower, look at things deeper, and make sure that what we are doing is without flaw and we're doing it the right way the first time. Okay, so I always see this as like literally like laying bricks or laying cement for a foundation, and you're smoothing it out and you're making sure that there's no bubbles and no cracks in between the bricks or within the cement in the foundation, so you don't have to later go back and fix that. And that is what Capricorn energy wants you to achieve, even though it is rigid and built within structure as well. Now, the energy that I'm kind of feeling when I'm looking at this moon and kind of placing myself within this is the energy of kind of taking your not taking your emotions, but emotionally going within. And this is to focus on, like, or not going within, but like retracting yourself from the social scene almost, and going within to achieve what it is that you're trying to achieve within your practice, or with what you are the foundation or the empire that you are trying to build. This is the energy that I'm feeling with this solar eclipse slash new moon. When we get into the cards of this, the first spot that we have is what habits need to die. We have the Devil card as well as the Three of Fire. And this is stating that there's things that negatively impact you. So this is all of the things that negatively impact you, whether that be self-destructive tendencies, whether that be going down in a downward spiral with like some of the people that you have in your life, whatever it is, whatever negatively impacts you, that's keeping you from the abundance or what it is that you are trying to create, what it is that you're trying to build for yourself, that these self-destructive tendencies kind of need to be put in the past and left in this old 10-year cycle that we're about to exit out of, so you can bring in that abundance and you can bring in that vision, or that vision that you have for this physical world, and begin to build that and create it without the issues of this darker energy that is coming to kind of knock you off your square. Okay, whatever that is for you, whether it's self-destruction or it's being negatively impacted by your environment, whatever it is that you're taking the steps now to exit that out. And I know a lot of us have already started this process and already started to kind of weed out some of these negative tendencies or self-destructive behaviors or things that are negatively impacting us. We've already started to weed this out because we're trying to kind of push forward. But if you haven't been, you will start feeling this pull the more and more engulfed that we get into Capricorn season. Now, what needs softening in my life? Because again, Capricorn energy can be very rigid and it is about structure and control and getting things done and getting them done the right way the first time. So it can be very rigid. So when we are looking, we get the Nine of Wands and the Four of Air. And this is saying that you are so intently on like focused on this vision that you have that you aren't really replenishing your reservoir. So mentally, emotionally, physically, whatever it is for you, it's not really being refilled. So you feel like the tasks that you have throughout your day is that you're just being stripped. Like you're just like every amount of energy that you even have in your body is getting stripped away from you because, and you feel kind of like this worn down or tired, low energy because you're so intently focused on what it is that you're trying to do right now that you aren't like I said again, you're not refilling these reservoirs, you're not taking the rest, you're not giving yourself a relaxation break, you're not kind of putting like refreshing yourself and putting positive like loving energy into yourself, which is leaving you feeling vulnerable and easily open to like your energy to be just taken away because again you don't have very much of it to begin with. Not that you're not getting enough sleep at night, because you may be or you may not be, but it's more so this energy of exhaustion because you keep pushing forward even though you need to take a second to breathe a little bit. And it's this energy of you're so focused on, if you can see, he's looking through this little telescope. And that is because he's looking at this outer vision, looking at what it is that he sees, looking at what it is that he wants to create for himself. Okay. And he's so intensely focused on this that he's just pushing, pushing, pushing. But what he needs to do, because one, again, we are in Capricorn energy, is to kind of take a deep breath, breathe for a second, and focus where he is right now. Focus on the where you are right now and what you need to be doing that will get you that to that next step closer to what it is that you're trying to bring in and what it is that you're trying to achieve, because we are in Capricorn energy. So that does not mean that we are hurrying. That does not mean that we're encompassed by this fire that just wants to create and destroy. We are kind of pulling ourselves back, grounding ourselves and looking, okay, this is what I'm doing now to get to this here later. Because you also have to understand when you're building a solid foundation and you are trying to build an empire or a castle or a house, whatever it is that, and I'm talking about in like metaphorical terms, of course, always, because not everybody is trying to like build this empire or this house, you know what I mean, whatever it is for you, whatever you're trying to build and create for yourself, you have to realize that you have to pay attention to what you're doing every step of the way, every process of the way. Just because you want a final outcome does not mean that there's not steps, and you have to make sure that these building blocks are secure and they are cemented in evenly without cracks and without air bubbles and with enough. They are connected enough. The cement that you're using as the glue to glue these steps, these bricks together is enough. It's not too little. It's not too thin. It's going to work and it is going to be sturdy. So we're looking at where we are now, taking a deep breath, and that's what we're focusing on while we're holding this other picture still in our mind that we know that that's what we're going towards, okay? So we're not feeling open, we're not feeling vulnerable, we're not feeling like no matter what we do, we can't get ahead, because you're like at square two and trying to leap to like stair 8 here. And that's not practical. And we are in an energy of practicality, okay? Now, when we get into the next cards is what can I carry over into 2020? And we have the Four of Cups as well as the Ace of Earth. And I want to be very clear about this and that you guys don't get confused. Because when I'm looking at these cards and what you need to carry over into 2020 is that stubborn, rigid energy that says, no, this is what I want. I'm not going to settle for less than what it is that I want, what it is that I've created in my mind, how I want things to look. I'm not going to settle for less than that. And that you are stubborn within that. And also, you are taking charge on that. Now, when I say taking charge, I'm not saying like you are literally like charging for it like a bull would and just galloping and running straight towards what it is that you're trying to do. When I'm saying you're taking charge of that, I'm like, you are kind of saying like you're taking that power. You're saying, I'm in charge of this. This is what I want. Okay. And you're keeping that stubborn energy and that rigid energy that you know that like nothing, even if it's something that looks like what it is that you want, it's still not going to be good enough because it's not what you envision for yourself. Now, I don't want you guys to get confused on what it is that I just said and what it is that I'm saying, because we are focusing always on the initial goal, on what it is that we want. We are not wavering within our standards of how we want that to look, unless it's better, right? But we're not going to take anything less. So how this merges together is you're focusing on, again, you are still focusing on the building blocks of building this, but you are intently building it. This stubborn energy of not taking anything less than what it is that you actually want is going to put you in that place of being able to make sure that everything is flowing well. You're doing everything the right way the first time, authentically, thoroughly, to your best and greatest ability the first time, because you are rigid and you are not going to waver and you are stubborn upon what it is that you actually see for yourself. So again, because I want to make sure that everybody understands this, that this energy, this stubborn energy that you're taking with you that makes you want to take charge and be in charge of what it is that you want and what it is that you want to bring in wholly and not take anything less, is going to put you in this place of making sure that you're doing everything authentically and thoroughly. So once you get to that point, it's not going to come all crumbling down, if that makes sense. Now, what needs completion in my life? And we get the 10 of Pentacles and the enslaved prisoner. And this is saying, again, we have this vision, and I've been talking about this for weeks upon weeks because, well, we were approaching Capricorn energy, and we are all in this energy of what it is that we're trying to build and what it is that we're trying to bring in this, this financial and physical security and stability of what it is, of what we're what it is that we actually want. So I kind of want to break that down and slow that down for you. That doesn't mean that it's necessarily what it is that you are trying to bring in for the long haul, although for a lot of us it is. But if it's not for you, this is still saying what it is, like the security and the structure and the abundance of what it is that you are physically trying to bring into your reality. Okay, so we see this and matched with the enslaved prisoner, and this is saying that it is time to complete this energy of feeling stuck and feeling chained up and feeling chained in and blocked from being able to create this or be able to bring this in, this structure, this stability, what it is that you ideally want in this physical world. What that is for you, that you come out of this place of being blocked and stuck and, again, chained up, no matter how good your intention is. That you have to kind of break through from this energy, no matter what it is that you might be leaving behind, or even if it's coming to a place where you have to reach deep down inside of you and gather that power and that energy and that courage to break free from or break through what's holding you back and keeping you from this. But whatever that is for you, it has to go, because there's no room for being in a space where you feel like you're blocked or held back going into this next 10-year cycle, because that won't serve you. That's literally just keeping the energy from the last 10-year cycle and how we've all been feeling leaving this 10-year cycle into the next one, and we don't want to do that. So we're breaking out of the bonds that confine us, being done with that crap, like I said with the devil card in the beginning of this spread, that we're letting go of anything that negatively impacts us, anything that's holding us back, so we can get to this point of things coming into fruition for us of what we've been trying to pull into the physical. Okay, now what will be my main challenge in 2020? And we get the Page of Cups, the water element, and the Fool. And this is dialing in on our emotions, okay? And the emotions that we need to, again, clear out. We have the element of water because there's this energy of having to clear out some of these old stagnant emotions. And again, to be proactive about this now, so you know that this might challenge you, or this is something that does challenge you. Your emotions getting in the way may be something that does challenge you. So we're going into 2020 and we're actively working on this, okay? And because we need to cleanse this out, because we don't actually want this to be a challenge. That's why the power of tarot and communicating with the universe is so amazing, because we can see our challenges or where we might fall short before it happens, and we can kind of take the initiative to change that. And this is starting at the base of clearing out these emotions that might come in, and these negative things that you think that are emotions, whatever it might be. We're clearing that out because they might interfere with the messages that are coming through, because it is going to affect the amount and the way that you carry on these new opportunities that 2020 is going to present to you, these new paths, these new roads, these new opportunities, taking a chance on yourself. And when we are changing things and we are trying to change so much that it gets kind of hard, and then we have doubt come in, and we have fear come in, and we have these ugly emotions that we don't want to come in, feeling like we're going to fall short or feeling like we're not good enough, whatever the case may be. We are actively working to cleanse that out. This might be said to be seen as a challenge, but now that we know that, we can kind of actively work to clear out these emotions when they come up, so they don't affect us as greatly as they could have. Okay, now I pulled a supporting message for this as well. And we get the Devil card, the Two of Swords, Death, and Nine of Cups. And I'm feeling an energy of balance within this as well, because we see the Devil card, and the Devil card isn't always indicating everything negative. This is also about our indulgence as well, and making sure that we are balancing what it is that we are indulging on. And I see this as one version of the Devil card, but we have to, why I say balanced, and balancing our indulgence and what we're doing, okay, whatever that might be for you, because indulgence and what feels good and what is like a reward for somebody might not be for somebody else. So whatever that is for you, that there is balance within that, because you don't want to tip the scales too much, and again be stuck in the energy of where you are being almost consumed by something. So when we're looking at the Devil card and we're looking at getting rid of the things that negatively impact us, sometimes too much of something, like too much cake, can impact us negatively. Too much pop can impact us negatively. That some of the things that are lesser forms of impacting you negatively, or you might not, or that are okay in small moderation, right, is not it's not getting out of balance, and it's not consuming you in a way. So there's some things that are okay, just make sure you're not being excessive, right? So then we can still be able to come to a place and make good decisions. Like, so it's not saying that you have to cut out everything that could possibly be fun in your life. It's making sure that you have balance. But some of those things that are very, very, very toxic, or hold you back, you're completely cutting that out to get to the abundance, like I was saying earlier. But we are coming to a place where we are having this balance of some of the things that we enjoy, even if, like, so we're not doing too much of that and getting like tipped off or set off, because once we're out of control, it's very easy to spiral downwards, if that makes sense. But we're coming to a place where we are making sure that we are balancing some of these things, like that, and balancing these things to make sure we're not doing too much, but also that we're able to see it. So we are going in with the initial thought, like, okay, so I'm going to let myself have this much of this, or I'm going to go out and I'm only going to have this many drinks, or whatever it may be for you, because we do have to unwind, but you have to be able to be in a position where you can see clearly and you're making good decisions and you're not letting things control you. Okay? We need to release the aspect and say goodbye to the aspect of ourselves that lets us fall out of control of what is going on in our reality and succumbing to things that are not good for us, because we kind of jumped off the rails and kind of got a little bit crazy. So we're releasing this and we're saying goodbye to those types of things. So we are making sure that we are almost like balanced, essentially in a whole. Like, I'm kind of feeling like the energy for this year is like kind of almost taking your hands in like a scale and being like, okay, how is this going to impact me? Is it going to impact me positively? Is it going to impact me negatively? Okay. Or if I'm using a little bit of this, then if I'm doing this, then I have to make sure that I do this tomorrow. So I'm making sure that I'm balanced. Like, if you are going out and celebrating one night, then and then the next day you don't go out again. You're doing something that's like constructive or in a different positive way, so that there's balance. So you're not falling too much into anything that would be able to consume you or knock you off. And this is ideally how we will be in a place to achieve this happiness and this contentment and this almost fulfillment, or being happy to climb the ladder to until the empire that you're trying to build is completely done, because we oftentimes will not like how things are going because they're not going fast enough, and then we are using something to cope and it is out of balance and we've done too much of it and it's knocked us completely out of our square. Now we're disillusioned and can't really see very clearly, and our happiness and contentment and almost like view of reality is all distorted because you got off balance. Okay? And that you were able to be in a place that you were consumed by something that is negatively impacting your life and making you see in a negative way. So we are actively avoiding all of that this year, and we are focusing on being happy and being content and rewarding ourselves as we go, but it's in balance and it's not too much, but it's not too little either. So we're making sure we're like asking ourselves before we make a decision to release and unwind, that we are making sure that we are going to stay in a balanced way so we can be happy while we achieve what it is that we set out to achieve. And we can celebrate every milestone that we pass, because we are not in this place of being so consumed by the final picture. Because yes, it's a final picture, but how do you expect to get there if you don't do the legwork, or you're angry about the legwork? Okay, and this is what I'm seeing for this solar eclipse new moon in the sign of Capricorn, and kind of going into 2020 as well. And if you guys would like me to do a spread on the potential energy and how the energy is going to kind of fall potentially for the year of 2020, please let me know and I will look into that as well. And just to let you guys know that services are still 30% off until the 2nd of January. And I hope that everybody got everything that they need out of this spread and it resonated. And if you feel that you need a spread specifically for yourself, please do not hesitate to contact me. I'd love to work with you. Everybody have a great day.